Hey everybody, welcome back to Classic Firearms. I'm Matt, and today, for the first time in a while, I'm flying solo, but I'm here to bring you some information about the Pistolet Makarova. That's right, the Makarov pistol. This is one of those classic surplus pistols that you just see a lot when we talk about like cool collectible surplus designs, and it's got a lot of really interesting history as well. So this stems kind of to the post-World War II era, where there was a lot of countries who were in arms development to create new, more modern style firearms. I mean, think about Russia had just adopted the AK-47 in 1947, and they were looking to replace their sidearm. So at the time, the Russian military was still using Nagant revolvers as well as the TT Tokarev. And so they were looking for something that was a little bit more modern and that was more user-friendly. And so they had a very large kind of development competition where there was a lot of different Russian arms designers who came together to test different designs. And originally this was going to be in 9.2 millimeter as well as like 7.62 pistol cartridge. But as they worked through the design, they developed the 9x18 caliber in conjunction with this design. And so this is actually what they ended up going with, was Makarov's design. So Nikolai Fyodorovich Makarov, and he designed a simple blowback action pistol that was considered to be super robust and very user-friendly. And I think that those same traits are one of the things that make it not just a collector piece, but it's something that's still eminently shootable today. Now, there are some limitations when it comes to this pistol, like the capacity, so this shoots from a 8-round magazine, and of course it uses that European-style heel release. So would you want to use this as a self-defense pistol? I think that the caliber is perfectly capable, the firearm is perfectly capable, but you may want something that's a little bit more, capacity than this. However, when it comes to taking it out and having fun at the range, or, if you're not concerned with the 8-round capacity, then certainly, this is still an effective pistol. So again, this simple blowback. So what that means is there's no locking action here in the pistol. The only thing that keeps the slide forward and the breech closed until the pressures are at a safe, low enough level is that the weight of the slide and how strong the spring is keeps the slide forward long enough for that round to exit the barrel, pressures to drop, and then as the action opens, it's safe. Now that does mean that mechanically it's a very simple pistol, as opposed to something that has different locking mechanisms or even delaying mechanisms, because again, those things are just absent. So you do get the benefit of mechanical simplicity, which helps lead to reliability. The front sight is just milled directly into the slide, and we do have a dovetailed rear sight. So there's some limited windage adjustments available, but overall pretty simple. Although I do think that the height of the sights are nice. They're not super high, but they're also not some of the really low rounded sights. In fact, you can see this has a very nice kind of straight back edge. So it's something that, from the shooter's perspective, gives you a nice, clear kind of a square front sight to put into the notch of your rear sight. It is a little bit heavy for its size, and again, that has a lot to do with the fact that they wanted to make that slide a little bit weightier. Basically, there's an annular recoil spring. That means it goes around the barrel up here, and so it's simple physics. The round going forward is what makes the slide come back, and that one spring is what returns it forward. In fact, one of the things that's so cool about these is that they're super cool to take apart. In fact, I can take it apart under the table here without even having to look, because it is just that simple. There, see? And there you have that annular recoil spring. You can see that it has a fixed and pinned barrel. So that does provide some accuracy potential over a reciprocating barrel like you would see in a Browning action, where that has to recoil back and tip up or something. But yeah, this is a mechanically super simple and robust design. It's really hard to break them. They come with a 4 groove barrel, and again, chambered in 9x18 Makarov. So how does that compare with other common self-defense, loads? So ballistically speaking, 9x18 is not quite as powerful as say 9x19, but it still has plenty enough power to fulfill a range of self-defense or, home defense, if just target shooting. And there's still plenty of loads available for this. Usually most target loads come in around like the 90 grain weight, but as far as the action of the pistol, this is a single action, double action. What that means is that if we take the safety off, when we pull the trigger, it will cock the hammer back and then fire the pistol. So we're just going to double check safety first. So we're going to double action. That's pretty heavy. Now, normally at this point, if we fired around, it would reciprocate the slide, which would cock this. And then for single action, it's still not as light as a lot of other single actions, but it is much, much lighter than the double action. In both cases, though, I don't think that either one of them is going to be an impediment, especially in a kind of higher stress self-defense environment where you're going to be pulling that trigger. You're not going to notice that it's a little bit heavier. One of the things I think is mechanically very interesting about the design is that it uses what's called a rebounding hammer. So if you notice, the hammer doesn't look like it's all the way forward right now. And when I pull the trigger and it strikes, it rebounds back to that location that's not all the way closed. That's partly tied in with the safety. So the safety uses a mechanism that will decock the hammer as well as put a block in front of the hammer so that you cannot have a misfire. With the safety there, the hammer will not strike the firing pin. The firing pin is free floating, so theoretically there is the possibility that you could have a fire round go off if this were to be dropped. However, I do want to point out that for a number of years, this was actually approved on the California handgun roster, which means that it passed all of their drop tests successfully for safety. So while it is a possible concern, I don't think that that's something that we should really focus on because, again, it has proven to be a very safe design in testing. One thing that I think is really great on this pistol, as opposed to a lot of other surplus pistols kind of from the time period, is the fact that it does have a slide release. So it's kind of interesting. So many pistols from this time period don't have a slide release. One of the things I would like to mention is just how good of shape that you can still find these guns in. I mean, a lot of times, we have to concern with a lot of wear and possible of rust and things when we look at some of these surplus pistols, and these things almost look immaculate. There are certainly some, especially slideware, where you can imagine that these were possibly issued as police or military firearms, which basically they still are today in a number of kind of Eastern European countries, Russia. Now these are actually made by Arsenal, so these aren't Russian manufactured pistols, and you can actually tell that because there's a little Circle 10, if you can zoom way in, right there above the pistol grip. And so that does note that these are Arsenal manufactured pistols as opposed to Russian manufactured pistols. Now these are made again for police and law enforcement use as well as just civilian manufacture. Usually the markings will say like Arsenal on the side if they were made for civilian manufacture as opposed to kind of more government markings. But I think that when you're looking for something for your collection that's a little bit of more of a history piece, something that's got some story behind it, but still is going to be in really fantastic shape, these Makarovs are just really phenomenal. Now, we don't want to be too dry and just academic here at the table, so we did send Kaya and Jason out to the range to do some shooting for you. So I think that we're going to wrap this up by heading over there.
All right, thanks to Matt for explaining all the specs and the cool stuff. In the studio where Matt belongs.
No, that's Matt's vibe.
The Matt stuff, yeah. Right? And this is where the rubber meets the road. Yeah. Jason and I are going to actually shoot these things and actually tell you how how these things actually perform. The Bulgarian Makarovs chambered in 9x18.
Yeah.
I fire the 9x18 PM63. Have you seen that video?
Yeah, the tank gun.
Mm-hmm. Tank gun. Mm-hmm. Super accurate gun.
That was Polish though.
Yeah, Polish, exactly, but super soft shooting ammo right there.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see if it's going to shoot that way here.
Oh,
kind of soft.
I will say that. Bulgarian James Bond vibes.
Right. What was it? Is it? Was that? No? No, I need a chick next to me. Oh wait, I do have one. You want to shoot or what?
Let's do it.
Not me. Don't shoot at me.
You never specified. Right here, right off the bat, feels kind of ergonomic. Feel a little swell there. Feels good. I love the finish, right? It's real slick. Still got that nice slick finish, but let's just get into shooting it. All right, Sights are all still built in, but I was getting some hits. Not all, but it's all good. Getting some hits.
That ejection pattern though.
Yeah, there's a lot going on with it.
It is actually so consistent, and it was going like 20, 25 feet over that way.
Yeah.
Like perfect ejection pattern. We have a lot of guns in 2024, a bunch of modern guns, all kinds of weird ejection patterns, which tells the gun is not really all that tuned well. Maybe tolerances aren't all that stacked well. Well, this thing is actually dope.
Yeah, why don't you give us some rounds, man?
All right, let me try this. Now, this one has, and I know Matt explained, the mag release button is down here. So it's not gonna be at the traditional location, it's gonna be down here. So with that being said, mag is inserted, clipped, clicked. Oh, there you go. We got the hammer, but you could also kind of charge the gun, get the hammer cocked, or cock the gun that way as well. Let's shoot this thing. All right, sights, pretty good. All right, so right off the gate, I want to show you guys something. That's just a little slide, hit my hand. This part is completely safe. When I'm holding onto the gun, I like to be really high on the beaver tail. That's how I shoot. And look, that slide directly just hit my hand. It didn't hurt anything like that, but it could potentially cause a malfunction. And you know, it could also hurt you too. It could also cut you as well. Nothing crazy, but it could. So I need to change my grip ever so slightly with this thing. So it's not the gun's fault at all. It's just that I grab really high all the time. I'm gonna change my grip just a little bit, and this should be just fine. And let's fire this thing again. There you go. You know, sights are what you expect. It's again surplus. Nice. Recoil is very manageable. Trigger is, you know, single double, and it's got some travel to it. A little heavy trigger. I'd say maybe, I don't know, 8 pounds, 7 pounds. Reset is a little bit longer. There you go, and lock to the rear. And that is it, guys. Right there, and you press this thing down, and the magazine come out for you. Good to go. You got an indicator over here, so you know if your magazine is loaded, how many rounds you got in there. That's about it, you know, for a surplus gun, a Makarov, old school stuff. Dude, not only shot reliably, right?
Yeah, real Eastern Bloc stuff, man.
Shot pretty well.
Shoots pretty well. It's got just a little bit of snap to it, but look at its size.
It is snappy,
it is,
for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
But then again, I'm comparing this to the PM63.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, for a 9x18. But no, overall, I think, you know, your micro compact guns, if you've ever fired a SIG P365, something like that, or Glock 43, yeah, 43X, it snaps something just like that to me.
Yeah,
what do you think?
For sure.
Yeah, that's about it. But overall, this is it, guys. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section. Do you have any experience with the Bulgarian Makarov or Makarovs in general, right? Let us know your thoughts. And what do you think about the caliber of 9x18?
Awesome suppressor host.
There you go, suppressor guy right there. But with that being said, guys, we appreciate you guys checking this video out. Also check, guys will never be disappointed. Let's just say that. With that being said, as always, guys, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate your business.
God bless.
And we'll see you on the next one.